Hello and welcome back to Yarn Stories, the podcast. My name is Sophie and this is episode number 5. Today is Monday the 30th of August and it has been a month since I last recorded, and I have a few finished objects to show you, a very special work in progress and some other acquisitions. If you are returning, then thank you very much for coming back and watching another video. And if you are brand new, then thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, then don't forget to press that subscribe button so you know when the next video is going to be released. You can find me on Instagram as yarn.stories, and you can also find me on Ravelry as YarnStoriesSophie. I try to keep Ravelry updated with my current projects. I seem to just update them all in one go when I've finished one, but I am trying to keep those pages updated. So if you wanted any more information on the projects I've worked on or are currently working on, then head over there and you can take a look and get all the details should you wish to. So getting into today's episode, we will start off with some finished objects. So the first one I have is something you've seen before. This was a test knit that I did for Becky. It's the sock Best Wishes, Warmest Regards, which is inspired by David. It's from her Schitt's Creek collection. You can see there's a beautiful textured leg with a couple of stripes leading into a stockinette foot. These were originally, I was going to make these for Matt, but I cast off a bit too soon, and so they're now for me instead. So these are finished and off the needles. If you want to see more in depth, me talk about these in more detail, then head over and watch the episode number 4 where I spoke about, I had one sock finished, so I spoke about them in a little bit more detail. But yeah, they are finished. The second finished object is something that I hadn't started last time, but it is a pair of shorty socks for summer sock camp. This is using the Mandis Making colourway Summer Sock Camp 2021, which I really love. And I used the Crazy Sock Ladies Vanilla sock pattern on Magic Loop pattern, and following her video on shorty socks, I made my own. So I used, for these, tried a new technique with socks, and I used two circular needles. These are 2.75, not sure how long they are, maybe 24 inches. But essentially you knit just like you would for Magic Loop, one needle, back needle, front needle. I really enjoyed using this. Obviously there is a bit more going on with having 4 needles dangling around, but in terms of the way you actually knit, it's virtually identical to Magic Loop. So if you like Magic Loop then, and you want to mix it up, then I would definitely recommend using 2 circulars. So for these I cast on 60 stitches. I did a 2x2 rib in the yellow for 2 rounds, or 3 rounds, and then I switched to the main colour to do 2 more rows of ribbon. I then just did, oh, here I am. Then I did 5 rows of stockinette before I got into the heel. The heel is, again, my current fave, which is the shadow wrap heel that Earth Tones girl includes in her shadow wrap, in her Soxploration pattern. And then I've still got my stitch markers in here. Can't really see them against this yarn, but I did 60 rows for the foot and then just a standard wedged heel. I actually started these, we went to watch a cricket game at the Kia Oval in London, and I took these with me. I cast on, and I pretty much, well, I'd say I got about half a sock done during the course of the day. In the evening, after a few glasses of wine, and when the light started to go, it was a bit harder to knit on, but I did have the train journey home where I did some more, and then the next day I finished the first sock, and then the second sock I just worked up again in a few days. It was really quick, so it was a nice quick win for these. And I finally got to knit this colourway, and I've got plenty left. So I'm going to do, I haven't weighed it, but there's a substantial amount of the main colourway left, and definitely enough for, I don't know, heels, or maybe heels, toes and cuff again. So I'm gonna give these another go. I'm gonna make another shorty pair, as I've found that actually just having 10 rows for the cuff and before going into the heel wasn't quite enough. It's over the widest part of my foot and it really stretches out. So I think if I carried on with 5 rows for the cuff and then maybe 10 rows for the leg before I went into the heel, that might work better. And I think I will play around with the placement. So I think maybe I will just cast on the main colour and then perhaps do a stripe of the yellow before we get to the heel, and then perhaps a stripe before the toe. I don't know, I'm just going to play around. I'm going to take all my learnings from these socks and try and make the perfect shorty for me. I did find that, I'll take this off, but I did find that when I nearly finished the first sock, I had 31 stitches on one needle. So I'd somehow increased, and I didn't really understand, but I just decreased it out. And then I found a hole. So I think right at the beginning of the sock, I did a yarn over and then just continued knitting the whole sock with a hole in it. Although saying that, actually I've just found another one. So this is why I really shouldn't be knitting in a public place when I can't watch. I'm not confident enough yet to be able to knit without looking too much. And so yeah, I've got a couple of holes in this sock, but I don't mind. It's fine. I've now understand why I had 31 stitches and what I need to do to fix it, which would basically be to rip it back. But considering I didn't actually realise I had an extra stitch until I was about to cast off or change to do the toe, I wasn't going to rip back all the way to go back to the hole to remove it when it's just a pair of socks that I'm going to wear. They're not a present, so I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, and I learned something new, that if you accidentally yarn over and you don't spot it, then there's not really much you can do to fix it. But yeah, so this is my first pair of shorties, and I'm gonna keep a note. I've kept a note of everything I've done for this, and then I'm just going to tweak it The other thing I want to tweak is, when I first learned to do socks, I followed a Nitty Natty tutorial, and the needles that were used in there were 2.75s. So all of my sock needles are 2.75. I have one pair of 2.5s that I've done a magic loop. So, and I know most people actually use a 1.25mm needle, which obviously would require a few extra stitches. I think I'd probably have to cast on 64 instead of 60, but I'd be interested to see how the sock fits with a smaller needle as a comparison. So I think what I'll do with the next ones that I do for these is I'll have some smaller needles. Maybe I'll get 2 circulars again, do the same method, but just a smaller needle, and see what they work up like. So yeah, that is my second finished object, which will probably be my last entry into summer sock camp, as that ends tomorrow, the 31st of August. So I have one more finished object, which was a work in progress at the end of July. No, it's not there. Where is it? In here. And that is the Leyla Bralette that I made along with Ashlee. Ashlee also has a podcast, Ashlees Knitting, so make sure you check it out, and you'll be able to see her version that she knit. So this is a bit hard to show on screen. But this I knit using the Kingcole DK 100% cotton yarn. It's white with kind of blue and pink speckles on it, and it's got this lovely lace detail down the middle, running up each side, and then we've got an I-cord strap that cross over at the back. This was a very fast make. I really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot of new techniques with the lace, the increases. You do elements in the round, and then you obviously, to do the front, you go to working flat. I did make a few mistakes. I'd obviously gone off in my counting, so I had actually carried on and did a few purls here where they should have been knits, and I had done that for the whole round. It was so there's a bit of 2x2 ribbon across the top of the back, and I'd obviously just started it straight away without doing some plain knit first, and by the time I'd noticed, I was already halfway up the side. So for ones where I hadn't started the decreases, I actually just dropped the stitch all the way down, made the purl into a knit, and then pulled it back up. So the majority of them I caught, apart from there's just a couple here, which is fine. I don't think anyone's really going to notice. But yeah, so that was another lesson in paying attention. And the other thing with this is I was really worried. I was really conscious that of the sizing, and the pattern is really great at helping you pick a size, adjusting your size, and I triple checked my sizing to make sure that it was going to fit. I didn't do a full gauge swatch, I did a mini gauge swatch, and believed I needed to go up a needle size, and actually I didn't need to go up a needle size because it's ended up a bit big for me. So I have bought some elastic, which is recommended in the pattern. It is an option to add elastic in. So I think I'm just going to add it into the 2 sides, so I don't have a thick elastic band the whole way around, but just into the sides to help it with its fitting. But yeah, I'm not actually sure when I'll wear it. It'll be something I wear under as a layer, I think. It's a nice warm layer. In the winter, I don't typically wear crop tops, but it was something that I'd had in my favourites, that Ashley saw, also had it in her favourites and suggested we made it together. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed making that along with Ashley and seeing how they both worked up. So yeah, head over to Ashley's podcast and you can see her talk about the one that she made and the yarn choice that she made, and she's got some great pictures of hers, which I might have to try and copy, to get some pictures of me wearing it once the elastic's in. I also haven't actually blocked this yet. I'm hoping that my stitches will even out a bit where I've switched from in the round to working in the flat. I'm hoping that when I block them they'll all settle down a bit. But yeah, that was a really, really fun knit. And it was the first time I did a knitted I-cord. I've done crochet I-cord. Yeah, it was so quick. I thought it was going to take forever because it's quite long. Well, for me, quite long. But actually, it was very quick. I think I could work on my consistency. There's a few bits where obviously my tension was a bit loose, but that's fine. Gives it that handmade look. So yeah, that is my final finished object, the Leyla Bralette. Go. So on to works in progress, and I will quickly give you an update on the faded socks I'm doing, using the Curated Yarn Co Opulence minis. So I'm knitting these socks for Matt's grandma for Christmas, and here I am. So I have faded in 3 colours, and I've actually just started to fade in the last colour, which is the darker purple. I did the maths on the fade quite a few weeks ago, months ago probably, and then when I went back to it this week and was checking where I should put the heel, I couldn't work out my maths and how I got to the number I got to. So instead of trying to put the heel in as I go, I've actually decided to just knit the whole tube, put the toe in, and then go back in and do an afterthought heel, because then I can make sure I've got the right foot length, and then the heel just will be wherever the heel is. These, what am I knitting these on? 2.75s on magic loop, and I'm doing 2 at a time, which when you've got 2 colours on the go, it's very, very stressful. I thought I was fine. I thought it'd be fine. I thought it'd be really manageable, but it was amazing how well the yarns tangled. I think I've now got a good system in place, so once I've started fading in a new colour, the old colour I kind of wind off roughly what I think I need, and then I can roll that up and keep that inside the sock. And then the new colour that I'm working in, I'm taking one end from the middle, one from the outside. So this one's quite manageable. But yeah, the fade I'm really enjoying, and actually I think it looks really good. I have had a few problems with my up the inside of the leg. I think I could definitely work on being a bit neater there, but this will be the inside of the sock, hopefully. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it, which foot you put it on. It's either going to be the inside or the outside, but hopefully there'll be one on the outside, on the inside. But yeah, so this is how far I am. As I said, I'm just striping in, fading in the last colour. So I've got about that much to go before the toe, which I'm going to use the brownie colour from the heel, from the cuff for the toe and the heel. So we've got the contrast there. Yeah, the aim was to have these done by the end of August for summer sock camp, but that gives me today and tomorrow to finish them, which is fairly doable because Matt's grandma's feet are only a size 2. These are extra small, so there's only 52 stitches, so it's actually quite quick. It's obviously just the fading in. I've been trying to weave in the ends each time I've started a new colour or end a new colour to save me weaving in hundreds of ends at the end. I think that also has contributed to the funny unevenness along the side, but you learn from these things. So yeah, I don't know, I'll see where we get to. If I can finish the foot today and then tomorrow just go in and put the heels in, then I might be finished, I might be done. But yeah, so that's my first work in progress, Grandma's socks. I have updated my Ravelry page, which details how I've actually faded the colours in, mainly for my own reference, and if I ever want to do it again. Obviously when you've got the block of the main colours here, this bit can obviously change. I mean, you can obviously change all of it, but the way I've faded in the colours I think has worked nicely. So I'm glad that I've kept a note of that at least. But yes, hopefully they'll be finished soon. So my next work in progress is a garment, and if you watched the last episode, I hadn't decided whether I was going to make this item or not, as it depended on me having chosen a wedding dress, which I have done. So I have my dress, and I have decided that this pattern I can get away with this pattern. It's going to go nicely with my dress. So I'll show you the picture first. This is the Grace Wrapper by Oates. See, it's got lovely bobbles on the sleeves, and it's a wrap cardigan. So I had purchased the yarn as a treat to make myself a garment earlier on in the year, which is the Lang Cashmere Premium. So it's 100% cashmere, and it's in a very light grey colour, kind of off-white, but more greys than kind of beigey undertones. So here is my progress. I have put a lifeline in, so there's some red thread going along with this. It's not the easiest thing to show. So this is worked top down with raglan increases. So I've just got to the point where I have split for the sleeves. So I've got the first side, the sleeves are on hold. I haven't got to the other side yet because I actually had a question. I have diligently been counting my stitches, keeping track of how many stitches there should be, kind of mid increases, to make sure that I haven't lost any stitches along the way, and correct as soon as I've noticed when I have lost an increase. I forgot to increase, but it is working up really well. This is worked flat, so lots of purling, but for the first time working in the flat, I think my tension is pretty even, so I'm really happy with that. And it's so soft. I can't wait to wear it. It's so lovely. I can't wait to see how this comes along. But yes, I had a question because I was diligently counting and got to the next step, and I was one stitch off, and there was something in the pattern that I didn't quite understand, and it just turned out that there was a bracket in the wrong place. The bracket was one instruction too early, so Kate came back to me super quickly and helped answer my question, which was really great. So now I can pick this back up and continue working with it. I do have this is my mid-round marker. It is a Bumblebee, and this came from one of my Crochet Society boxes. So I think what I'll do is I will put a marker in here now, so as a progress keeper, so we can see how far I have got by the next time I record. But yeah, I've got 7-ish weeks until this needs to be ready, so I will pretty much be working on this solid until it's done. And the only other work in progress I've got is Grandma's socks, which hopefully I'll finish in the next couple of days. If I can get them done by summer sock camp, that'd be great. And then I've just got this garment to finish, so hopefully it won't take me 6 weeks to finish. Hopefully I can get it done much sooner if I'm going to be a monogamous knitter for a few weeks. But we'll see. I'm not sure how complex the pattern's going to get, and I may require some mindless stockinette sock knitting, but we shall see. So yeah, that is all the knitting I've got going on at the moment. So yeah, on to acquisitions. So I had some Etsy vouchers and some money for my birthday, and I wanted to use that to get some project bags. So I was scrolling through Instagram and I found a couple. So the first bag I got is this lovely floral bag, and this is by Tea Cake and Mate. It's got a lovely dotty pattern on the inside. It's a drawstring bag. It's got sorry, it's a couple of motorbikes that just went past. There is a loop to hold your stitch markers and a little stitch marker, little flower. I just love it. Oh, so nice. Flowery, makes me happy. So yeah, I got this one first, and then so that's TK Make, and then I also got some DPN holder, and this is by Pickle-Lily. And it's a lovely blue flowery Liberty print. So that's for some DPNs. That came with a nice lavender bag with some little snails on it. And I think this came with a herbal tea as well. My favourite herbal tea. Lovely little thank you card. Pickle-Lily, it's their details. The second ones I got were very special, and I love them very, very much. So I got the larger bag and the smaller bag. How great are these? So I'll show you the smaller one first. It's like not sure what material this is, but this pink material at the bottom with orange scallops, and then this lovely dotty pattern. Again, it is drawstring, and with this there was a pin badge of a llama, which I've pinned on. He's lovely. So in here at the moment is Matt's grandma's socks, and then the big version, so it's the opposite. So it's actually got the orange base with the pink scallops going into the dotty pattern. So this is the bigger project bag, which is holding in my grey wrapper cardigan. I'm hoping to wear on my wedding day. Again, drawstring bag, and I just absolutely love it. So these bags are by Kelly Connor Designs. And with that as well, there was a lovely card and a notebook which says knitting is always the right thing to do, which is great. So I have this in with my Grace wrapper for me to take notes with, which I haven't needed to do yet, but it's nice to know that it's in there. And I've actually got it in here as well. I got this for my birthday from my parents, little bride-to-be pouch, which I've got pen, crochet hook, some stitch markers, and my little notepad. So all in here, plenty of room, nice big project bag. So yeah, the last thing I got in the same order was some hand-dyed yarn. This is the only yarn I've bought in the month of August, and that is this beautiful yarn. It's by HeyJay, and this is merino sock, superwash merino, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it is Artic Mermaid is the colourway. So yeah, it's this lovely turquoisey green with all of these beautiful speckles. So I'm sure this will become socks. But yeah, absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. I don't really like buying yarn without pattern or a project in mind, but socks is, you know, it's going to be socks. So yeah, that was the yarn purchase for the month. And there was only one pattern purchase, so I will put a picture up here, and it's called the Sunday Funday sweater by Knitterella, and it's just totally me. It's a v-neck jumper with nice block stripes, and the pictures that they took of this pattern, just yeah, a proper fun day, Sunday, on a boat with a bottle of fizz, 2 different variations of the jumper, so you should definitely head over to Knitterella's Instagram and have a look at those. But yeah, I bought that when it was released, so I will plan to make that as soon as I've finished my Grace wrapper cardigan, so I can start to knit up my winter wardrobe. And then apart from that, just need to crack on with some Christmas socks, I think, but no plans yet. We'll see how we go. But that is everything for the knitting content. There's no crochet this month video. I do have some things I want to crochet. I want to make myself some float totes as a project bag patterned by Knitty Natty. I'm just going to see if I've got in my stash any yarn that would be suitable for it. Not sure I do. And also I don't want to buy yarn without being ready to start it. Otherwise I may change my mind and decide not to do it, in which case I've got the yarn sitting there. But yeah, I do want to do that. And there are also a few garments, crochet garments, that I want to make. So there should be some more crochet featuring soon. I am going to leave it there for today. I've got another busy September coming up, but I will hopefully record by the end of September, and hopefully the Grace wrapper cardigan will be done and there'll be lots of new projects on the needles. See you again soon. Happy knitting. Bye.